Dave Hunt here, owner of GameMasters Guild. Did you just buy some of these? Well, if you did, stay with me because I'm going to show you how to take care of your favorite collectible card game. Okay, so you finally took the plunge and got into a collectible card game. Now, what are you going to do with these cards? How do you take care of them? I mean, getting the cards is actually pretty easy. Once you get into a card game, guaranteed, all your friends are going to be pushing cards your way when you first start, so that way your collection can grow. But have you ever really considered the value of these cards? You know, over time, some of these cards can become very, very expensive. And what you don't want to do is to ruin these cards, because in a way, well, they can kind of be an investment for the future. You know, I'm not talking like money in the bank necessarily, but these cards can appreciate over time when new sets come out. Sometimes card interactions make certain cards very viable for competitive play, which makes them very valuable. Now I'm going to be talking to really just a layperson here. If you're already a competitive card gamer, then my advice you already know. But for some of you just getting into it, I think this is exactly what you're going to need. Now, let me show you something that I see all the time. Okay, so it's not uncommon for somebody to come into my store and say, "Mr. Dave, I got some Magic cards I'd like to sell you." And I'm going to say, "Sure, let's take a look at them." And then they thrust their hand in their pocket and they pull out this. A stack of Magic cards with a rubber band slapped around it. Now, this makes me cringe because, needless to say, this is not how you need to take care of not just your Magic cards, but any cards. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Force of Will, Dragon Ball, whatever it is. I mean, oh my God, what happened? Holy, this thing got stabbed. What? Oh, it's a foil, and look at those edges. Awful, awful. Oh, a Chroma Angel. What's this? It's like a weird bend. Oh, what is that? Oh, it looks like it's got fungus on it. All those little black spots? What the heck? Oh, are you kidding me? Look at that. Bent. It's a crease. Look at that. That is ridiculous. What else we got here? Let's see. Okay, got some edge wear. A little bit. That's not terrible. Oh. Okay, there's some damage on the corner. Oh, that's ridiculous. All right, what else we got here? Look at this. This thing looks like it's been run over. And it probably has. And it looks like maybe a small animal knot on that. And what else we got here? Oh, a Path to Exile. You know, and here's a really good example that I want to show you right now. This Path to Exile, this is a relatively inexpensive card. However, it can be $5 to $10 depending on really what's going on in the format. But look at this upper corner right here. You see how this upper corner is? This thing is horrendous. If you were going to try to trade or sell this to somebody, they're going to look at you like you are crazy. And they're going to be like, well, yeah, you can throw that in the trade, or you can give it to me, but I'm certainly not going to buy it. So that's no good. And lands? Come on, man. I mean, your lands are half your battlefield. You want to look good in front of the other player, don't you? Don't play lands that are all jacked up and got creases in the middle. It just doesn't look good. Plus, if you go to a professional tournament, you're not going to be able to use those at all because they're so deformed that even in sleeves, well, quite frankly, they're going to call a judge on you and say you're still running with a marked deck, even though technically you're not. But you are, because your cards are deformed and you can feel it through the sleeves. And that brings me to another point. Sleeves. So, just what is a sleeve? Okay, a sleeve, simply enough, is one of these. It is literally a sleeve for your favorite collectible card game. Doesn't matter if it's Magic, doesn't matter if it's Pokemon, doesn't matter if it's Yu-Gi-Oh. So the sleeve right here is clear on one side, colored on the other. This particular one happens to be a Dragon Shield, which I generally prefer, but that's not the point. We're going to slide this baby in here right just like that. Give it a little tuck, a little tap. And now this Clockwork Servant, even though he's not very valuable at all, but he's still protected. He looks clean. He's nice and neat. Plus, if for some reason the price ever does go up, this Clockwork Servant is going to retain his value because he's like new in this sleeve. Now, is there just one kind of sleeve? No, there's actually not. There's actually several different kinds of sleeves. What you get is entirely up to you and depending on your personal preference. Now, I'm not specifically going to sit here and tell you about the brands and the pros and cons, but generally when you're buying sleeves, especially if you're a casual player, just buy what you like. That's the big thing. And it goes without saying for anything you do. Do what you want, do what you like. Now, if you're a competitive player, you're going to give yourself a little more thought into what you're going to buy. A lot of competitive players, well, they like to use dragon shields because they're some of the best on the market. They last a long time, they're resilient, they don't tear, they don't deform very easily. And for a competitive player, these are exactly what you're looking for. But I'm not selling to the a competitive player. I am, but I'm not talking to the competitive player today. I'm talking to you, the casual gamer. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to protect your stuff with these sleeves. Go buy whatever seems to float your boat, whatever you like. There's solid colors, there's themes. And if you come down to the store, we'd be happy to help you find a perfect sleeve just for you. Now, if you want to give your cards a little bit of extra protection, well, there's something else. And competitive players love to protect their cards in this next manner. And it's called the inner sleeve. Much like regular sleeves, there are a number of different inner sleeves on the market. One of them being, the most common, the Pro Fit. Another one are the Perfect Fits by Dragon Shields. Another that I don't have here today are the KMCs. But again, it really doesn't matter what brand you use because they all serve generally the same purpose. Of course, you may buy a certain sleeve depending on exactly how they fit your cards or your general personal preference, or if you're a casual player versus a competitive player. Now you get them in clear, like this Dragon Shield right here, this Perfect Fit. You get it in clear, which means see-through all the way. This is a smoke, and what that means is one side has kind of a smoky film to it, and the other side's going to be clear. And these are just regular Pro Fits. Now, you may have noticed these two sleeves right here just say Pro Fit and Perfect Fit, and that's it. But you notice this one says Perfect Fit, says side loaders. Well, what is that? I'm going to show you. All right, slide these out of here. All right, so I'm going to take this sweet foil Llanowar elf here, and I'm going to get a side loader for it. This is a Perfect Fit, or Pro Fit, side loader. It's very hard to see because it's clear. All right, so anyways, I'm going to open this bad boy up on the side right here. We're going to take this sweet looking Llanowar elf, and we're going to slide him right in there, just like that. There it goes. You can kind of see it slide right over. Boom! Look at that. This awesome foil Llanowar elf is now safe and sound in this Perfect Fit side load. And that's all it is. Side load is just loading the sleeve from the side. Now, if this were a regular Perfect Fit top loader, then you would just load it from the top, just like with this regular sleeve. So I'm going to open the sleeve up a little bit, and this is a regular sleeve. This is the Perfect Fit, and we'll take these two and we'll slide them in there just like that. Now, why would you want to put your card in a sleeve and then put it in yet another sleeve? Well, that's for extra protection. Because if you're playing Magic and someone knocks over their soda or their water, which in tournaments shouldn't happen, but I know these kind of things can occur regardless, even in casual play, if you're at the kitchen table, it could easily happen. And when that spills over, what happens is if you get anything in the top of this card, because your card is still in yet another sleeve, it's going to be extra protected from those spills. And that's what you want, is your whole goal by sleeving is to protect these cards from any kind of damage whatsoever. And also, let me show you something else with the Perfect Fits. Not necessarily the side load, but I'm going to show you the top load real quick because I actually prefer the top load myself. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we're back with our awesome Land War Elf. We got our top load perfect fit now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bad boy, slip him right in there, and slide him in. You can just barely see the sleeve sliding up. There you go. So the foil goes in the top, no problem. And then we've got a regular sleeve, and we're gonna take this and slip it right in here. Double sleeved and protected, right? Wrong! Because what happens is since you top loaded the inner sleeve and you took that and top loaded it into this sleeve, if you look right here, if you spilled something, water, soda, coffee, whatever, is going to get right in here and damage this card. So what you want to do is something called bottom loading. And this is super, super easy. All right, so I'm going to pull this card out right here. Whoop, and all bottom loading is I'm going to take this Pro Fit, open it up, and basically I'm turning the sleeve upside down so I can load it through the bottom. And basically I'm just reorienting the card, loading it, and setting it up just like that. And then when I go to put it in the regular sleeve, I can just slide that guy right in there, and he's all set. So now, if a spill occurs, if any kind of liquid gets in here whatsoever, he's extra protected because that liquid would have to travel all the way down and around to the bottom to get in to even begin to damage this card. So now, your card, be it Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Force of Will, whatever card game you like, it's now, your favorite cards are now protected safely in these sleeves. Plus, as you shuffle, it's going to save on wear and tear. So I've got these sleeves right here. You can see all these cards are sleeved in Dragon Shields. Nice, neat, they're all clean, ready to play. And they're protected. Now, some of you may think, well, Dave, do I really need an inner sleeve? Is it really that important? Because then that's money I got to spend on inner sleeves, money I got to spend on outer sleeves. Well, you know what? That's okay. As you can see, this deck, for me, it's a very casual deck. I'm a very casual Magic player. Plus, I'm very careful with my cards. So, generally, most of my decks, I just single sleeve. And this is called single sleeving right here. But of course, if you've got a deck that you spent more money on, you're definitely going to want to double sleeve it for sure and keep these cards extra nice and pristine. Now earlier, I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! And the only thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that compared to Magic and Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are actually much smaller. Let's lay this Yu-Gi-Oh! Card over here. Oh, look, see how much different the size is? Let's check it out with a Magic card. All right, line up the edges. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is substantially smaller than a Magic card. So what you need to do is you need to buy a special sleeve, but that's okay. Most of your FLGSs will have smaller size sleeves available. They're called small, 62mm by 89mm, or some products will list them as Japanese-sized card sleeves. And that's what you're going to want for Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, of course, you could use a standard size sleeve, but of course, see how much extra space there is? You don't want that extra space. It's bad for shuffling and, well, it's probably not going to be good for the card or the long haul. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get yourself the right sleeve for the right card game. Okay, moving on. Now there is something that I haven't told you yet about, and that's called the top loader. Now, what is a top loader exactly? A top loader is a hard piece of plastic, like a sleeve, except it's rigid. And, of course, just by the name, top loader, it opens at the top. And what these are for are taking your really nice Magic cards and storing them. This is more for collecting more than anything else, because you're definitely not going to play with top loaders. So you're just going to slide your card down in there, give it a few taps on the table, let that slide down in there, and now your foil Land War Elf is safely stored inside this rigid top loader. And if you bottom load your card, it's going to be even more protected. Now also, you could even technically double sleeve a card and then put in a top loader. But of course also too, sometimes this may make it a little tight to get out later. And now while this foil Land War Elf is pretty sweet to have in this top loader, but at the same time, it's not as valuable as you think it would be, even though it looks really nice. But let me show you an example of some cards that you may want to consider collecting versus playing with and keeping in a top loader. Now, there are some cards in my collection that I like to collect just because I enjoy them or they're really expensive, like, I don't know, Force of Will, starting around $80, $100, right in that ballpark. There's also, let's say, Stoneforge Mystic. Now, usually the Mystic is around 50 bucks, non-foil. In a foil condition, she can fetch 2 or 3 times as much. We have Unlimited Lightning Bolt, Beta Lightning Bolt, Alpha Lightning Bolt, several $100s. Demonic Tutor, well, he's only around 20 or so. However, his brother, the Unlimited Demonic Tutor, is substantially more. And let's not forget his big brother, the Beta Demonic Tutor. Again, a few $100s. And this is why you want to keep your cards nice and clean and well protected, because these cards can go up. And even though this is a really old card, but don't think that new cards can't end up with the same kind of value. I've seen it happen many times over the years. So this is why you want to keep your cards nice and neat and well protected. And the final bit of advice I'm going to get you is that you want to protect all these cards, not just in some shoebox, but you want to put these cards in something nice. And let me show you what we do for ours. What we use here at the store is a 3-ring binder. And here we've got these sleeves, which side load, which means you can place the cards in from the side instead of the top. And this is important because often, and I've seen it many times, someone will pick up their binder the wrong way, upside down, and cards will easily slide out. But this way, you don't have to worry about it because they're side loaded. And even if this card does want to slide out a little bit, it's going to hit along this series of ridges and bumps, and odds are good this card's going to stay in here safe and sound. And as you can see, all these cards are sleeved and in the sleeve in the binder. So this way, these cards stay nice, neat, and organized for my customers. And this is exactly what you can use at home, and we have these available as well. Another thing is one of these more stylized binders right here. Again, we have these binders right here you cannot add pages to, but just like the 3-ring binder, they're side load, so you can take these cards and slide them in and out the side, plus the binder itself looks nice, neat, presentable, and just overall really cool for all your Magic cards. I've told you what not to do with your Magic cards, or Pokemon cards, or Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I've shown you different kinds of sleeves you can get for those same cards. An important thing, I showed you that there are different sizes of sleeves for your cards. So you really want to remember that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Japanese size, or 62mm by 89mm small. We've also seen the binders that you can use and the sleeves inside to keep your cards safe. Now, what about your decks? Not a problem. Let's move all this aside and take a look. Let's look at deck boxes. This Ultra Pro box right here, $4 or $5, holds my Commander deck fully sleeved, 100 cards with room to spare. Nice, clean, looks good. Another deck box, this one right here, it's got the Magic logo, got the Planeswalker symbol. It's kind of a faux leather, and also it's got a magnetic clasp on it, so it closes securely, and 2 spots, one for each deck, or in this case, one of my play decks, extra sleeves in case something tears or gets ruined by accident, and also room for a deck that I got in progress. And then, one of the last ones I'm going to show you is this Ultra Pro one. This is really nice. Again, magnetic closure, open it up. It actually has a small drawer that you pull out that you keep your deck right in. And then, on top here, another magnetic closer, little drawer comes out, and this is to hold all your dice. Now, these are just a sample of some of the deck boxes that are out there, but guaranteed, you're going to probably want a deck box. Come up, we'll show you what you need. Also, too, if your deck box ever gets like this, with a big crack down the side, man, I think it's time to replace it. Besides, these things are less than $4. You should probably get a better deck box than this. Again, I'm Dave Hunt, owner of GameMasters Guild, and I want to thank you for watching my video on how to take care of your collectible card games. Stay safe, play great games, and I'll see you soon.